It's Labor Day weekend. I'm in the studio. I got to see every single one of the videos on this camera, or not just the LUMIX S1II, but S1R2 and whatever the lower tier camera also. And the thing that made me the most interested in the camera was whatever licensing agreement LUMIX happens to have with Arri, because there is no mistaking the fact that Arri has incredible color science. And their highlight roll-off is, it's only rivaled by red. And in some cases, maybe even more cases than not, it is better than red. But Arri suffers when it comes to low light, where red gives you incredible highlight roll-off, and with the Raptor X, and Quintero X for that matter, very, 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 very clean dark areas or blacks in your scene. So going back to this S1 Mark II, the camera has so many shooting modes, as in resolutions, frame rates, flavors of codec, right? And so on, that it's overwhelming, but it also means it's trying to talk to the majority of people who would use this type of camera system and trying to have something for everyone. And I'm going to just say this because I think it's fair that I say this. First off, I bought the camera with my own money. Was I influenced by some of the videos that I watched? I was intrigued. And I realized that buying this camera may not fit my day-to-day workflow for the types of projects that I shoot. And I thought that that was still okay for me to spend the money and pick one up. What I didn't get from any of the reviews and any of the, launch videos and different things that happen is I didn't get a sense or an understanding that the majority of the codecs, as many as there are, and the majority of the frame rates, again, as many as they've stuffed into this camera, are really using 420 color instead of 422 color. And what that generally would mean to someone like you and I, who were incredibly happy once we were able to move away from 420 color and move into 422 color, is that we had more tonality in all of the gradients. So not just in the sky, right? But we would also see tonality in the skin tones, the different depths of color that natural skin, as in human skin, not photoshopped, all blended into one unified color skin would offer. And to me, that's the difference between like a video camera and a cinema camera. If I'm able to make the world seem as real as possible in my vision, in my colors, my color style, and I apologize, my voice is what it is because I'm taking allergy pills. It's the time of year. And it makes this happen to my voice. So bear with me. Being able to tell my story in my way in a realistic version where it doesn't look artificial, plasticky, or make-believe, if that is not what my story is calling for, which in the commercial space that I work in, that's not what it's calling for. When I'm doing interviews for my clients, or my clients are doing talking head, that's not what it's calling for. And when I'm looking at my reference monitor here, and I'm looking at these colors, and I just said it's 420. And I don't see problems in the image. You know, like down in this area right here, or in this area as I moved away. I'm not seeing these blocking noise type things that we would see if we were using, say, a Super 35 camera, like the Canon R50V, which is another camera that I own. And in some cases, and I know some people are not going to enjoy what I'm about to say, but in some cases, Blackmagic cameras, where, you know, some of them suffer from fixed pattern noise that very much looks like fixed pattern noise. And I realize that I'm well exposed here because this is a studio shot, and I am in a studio. But the camera in this scenario has every opportunity to fail, because that's white. And it's not an even white because of the way that the light is hitting it. So there are gradients there. In the slats, that's a different value of white. All of this is purposely done, of course, in trying to balance out my ratios. And then, of course, we got my skin, which, you know, I own the GH5. And I got rid of the GH5 for my own reasons at the time. But the one reason I couldn't get over was the fact that my skin looked green, because I'm not white and I'm not super dark. I'm like mocha. And for whatever reason, my screen went green. And it was not something that I was willing and dealing with at the time. And also my color grading skills at the time were different than what they are today. So I kind of just, you know, didn't really decide to stick with it, I guess is the best way to say it. But what I'm seeing right now is the best of LUMIX with the blend of an experience of the Arri color science. Now, I'm seeing this on a monitor, it's a reference monitor, that is then also using the View Assist LUT to pipe out the colors. When I bring it into post, we'll see if this continues to hold true, and maybe you all can leave a comment and let me know what it is that you guys think about the colors. But what I want to say about, because I did pay for the Arri LogC3 license for this LUMIX S1 Mark II. And the reason why I did it is because of what we've been hearing now. You know, you may have heard me say it many years ago at this point on my channel about how color space transforms and resolve can equal artifacts and things that you don't really want. I realize that that is an unpopular opinion because there are other people that will tell you left and right that it doesn't really matter. I'm going to tell you that for me, with the tools that I use to monitor and how it is that I'm able to see the image coming straight out of the camera and then what happens to it when I put it through my color pipeline, that's where my opinion came from. What I said about this, again, years ago, has now been confirmed multiple times by other people, both in the industry and on YouTube. On YouTube, Gerald Undone has said it. Color space transforms, they're good, but they're not perfect. This is why Gerald is selling LUTs that he created to make cameras like this work and look the same across multiple systems. That is the same reason why I sell LUTs that do the exact same thing. In the industry, we have Phil Holland, who, if you don't know who Phil Holland is, well, that would not be true. Everybody knows who Phil Holland is. But this man grew up in the industry, worked in the industry when it was still film, and then worked in the industry when film was converting to digital, and is now still working in the industry. Blockbuster film after blockbuster film after blockbuster film. And Phil has said the exact same thing. Color space transforms should be used with caution. Because not every scene, not every luminance value, not every lens and camera combination and lighting scenario is going to yield identical results when you use color space transforms. Does it mean it can't work for you? No, that's not what it means. It means it won't work in every scenario. And I'm not preaching, but that is the reason and the foundation as to my reasoning for deciding to spend the money on purchasing the Arri LogC3 LUT for the LUMIX S1 Mark II. Again, this is my first time evaluating the camera. And not just evaluating the camera, but if I like the way that this turned out and I don't sound completely horrible with my voice challenge, I will actually publish this on YouTube. I want to know what you guys think. Are the colors solid? If you own the camera, do you find it challenging to work with your color pipeline when you're using 420 color instead of 422, which is what we've all been using since that transition 4 or 5 years ago? I'm interested to know what you guys think. I'm going to bring this into post and take a look because I'm genuinely curious. This is my first look at what the camera can do. And we'll find out if I can bring it out on a production. Take care.